The moment your head hits the pillow, that's when the magic begins. Which means to say that the moment you fall asleep is when the magic begins. Because just like that, you're gone. You're not in control of the choices. You're not even in control of where you might land up. And you're also not in control of what you can remember. Which means to say that the moment you open your eyes every day is when the magic begins as well. But this time, you're given a chance to control your choices and even control what you can remember, or what you can make of what you can remember. But are you aware enough to understand that, or would you take everything for granted again and backslide into ignorance and negligence? Is a choice that you will have to make consciously, or unconsciously, or maybe even subconsciously. But I would say, since you now have the experience of what it is like, the best move would be to stay aware. I'm here to support the Morphic Resonance cause I want to see a world full of magical people, thereby dissolving all forms of selfishness and jealousy and shyness. Maybe the three wise monkeys are not so wise anymore. After all, cause until you take your stand, how will anybody know what you stand for? Or sometimes to beat evil, you have to become evil so that you can live for yourself. Did you notice that? Wow, what an anagram. Evil and live. Live against evil. Don't live with evil. Live against evil. If you are qualified, that is. The observer is the superhero. Because once again, before your head hits the pillow, certain tasks need to be completed for that day, as you are wise enough to make it through all the steps that are important for your survival and your contribution. It's as good as breathing in air. Because if the tasks are not completed, you will wind up fragmented. By the way, I've been looking at the channel analytics. I don't let the numbers affect me. After all, it's me who decides what to post and when to post. I'm the sole creator and beholder of this content. If anything, I would want is like-minded people to find me, if nothing else, because no one gets to see my energy unless it's nature's will to allow people to find my content. And if there is any contribution I can make towards evolution, then nature will guide me through, because all that is in my control is to upload the content. I have no control over the algorithm. I don't have the funds for advertising, and even if I did, I would probably not advertise and leave it up to the analytics and be hopeful that it will click. If not now, sometime soon. After all, this community is meant to validate the authenticity. And I can't ask to like or subscribe, although I can, but if it's at your goodwill, you would have already subscribed. And I want to see how long that takes. But again, I cannot be the reminder for that every time, because in my opinion, that's a standard protocol, and that choice will have to be made without any clue as such, if you stand or understand the importance of it, that is. After all, participation is a personal choice. It should not be directed or forced upon anybody or even reminded of anymore. Because, I mean, It may have made sense as long as the internet itself was not widely used as such earlier, and it's only been in the last decade that it's risen. But the norms are quite standard for everyone to understand how we are interlinked. I mean, within just one decade, things have evolved so much. I couldn't imagine where things would scale to in the next 2 decades. We are in a very important era to shape the world, let alone the voting part. That choice has become far more inclusive upon making decisions that impact the overall population. Because all participants would not only be improving their own lives, but others as well, resulting in morphic resonance. And it is the only way to defeat all forms of corruption, as all the corrupted people would find themselves next to each other on a small sinking boat. Nor will they be able to change, and nor will they be able to escape. It will be the eternal judgment for them. It does not matter how much wealth you have. When that day arrives, you will have to leave everything behind. From what I have observed is that people in power have already made the separation, because whatever is out there is not enough for everyone. It's not sufficient for everyone. Like wealth, women, psychedelics. All these things are totally controlled. I'm sorry I'm calling women a thing, because they are being sold and smuggled as though they are products. In fact, even spaces are controlled, like parties or events, and gatherings are not open to everyone but for invites only. Only people in power and their acquaintances have the access to that, whether we get to see their energies or not. And probably this is also the reason why my videos don't have any views as such, because I have a feeling that my content is being held by a checkpost filter. Probably because they think that I'm not following some guidelines. But how will I come to know if they don't tell me? Which keeps me wondering, because I'm not using copyrighted content, and nor am I using a lot of profanity as such. I might be a little aggravated as a struggling individual, because that is authenticity as well. But I'm not putting others at risk apart from the energies connected to me, so that my storyline makes sense. However, there is one thing that I'm not doing correctly, is that I'm not posting regularly. There are a few days gaps in between my videos. So what's left to see is if I close those gaps and post regularly and have about something meaningful to say from my perspective, then let's see who gets to be the judge. Whether it reaches the masses or not will be revealed by itself. And I will come to know what my direction should be after that. Because obviously, I want to do something valuable in my life. And whatever I do might not make complete sense for now, because I anyway cannot be a perfectionist. But I have no control over the outcome, because it's not clear whether my uploads are passing through a neutral algorithm. All I can do is upload and hope for the best, which in my perspective is nature's response to me, and I will try and push myself to make sense as long as I can. I'm also saying that if you can hear me, whatever choices you make are extremely crucial for not only your survival as an individual, but crucial for the world itself. That in itself is interesting. And sometimes doing nothing is a crime. So make the right moves, make the best moves. The three wise monkeys have evolved and would need to take action to help God, or the evolution in specific. So we need to uplift our environment for the sole purpose that we are here for. At least I can speak for myself, if not for everyone. And why would I speak for everyone? You got to do your bit. Isn't that what it's all about anyway? Each of us doing our part, sharing the energies, cultivating a more synchronized rhythm, and that pattern is the evolution as you already know. Rather than being dumb, as those monkeys have been till now, because it might have made sense in the past to be that way, but things have changed, and to put it simply, I feel that heaven is right here, and you have to fight for your right to overcome the barriers that make or that may want to stop you or steal your energy. We are already in heaven, and the serpent will be defeated. Power will become neutral, your manifestations would happen quicker, corruption would dissolve sooner, the overall transactions of energy will be faster, thereby giving all its participants access to happiness. But most importantly, it means that you should be qualified to receive that amount of happiness. Or happiness is a cheesy word. I would rather just say fulfillment. You should be qualified to be fulfilled, at least in your own eyes first, which is an important aspect of morphic resonance. Otherwise, it's better that the separation continues and let the power be with the ones who are in power. If you don't want to participate, that is. But if you want to participate, it is not only a matter of time of what can be available for you. And when I say you, I mean the individual who will cross the threshold and have access to the fulfillment. Because again, it's not possible for morphic resonance to occur at once. Although that would have been possible too if people wouldn't fool you. That is. But fooling and being fooled is a part of the game. And if you're being fooled, it is your problem because you were not aware, you were not careful, and you did not act upon ignorance or underdevelopment or failure, which again is a self infused challenge that needs to be overcome. So stay strong and make your inputs now. Now, I don't know who would be the viewers of this channel, but we've got to get a lot of views. Only if I get some assurance that my work here is going to be fruitful, only then will it make sense to put in the effort. Because maybe that's why my app isn't recording properly, because I'm not getting the response I need from you. So you can't hear. So I can't record clear audio at a stretch of the entire loop. And also because you don't want to be copying my content, which is why maybe I'm not able to record quality audio as well. Because I can listen to it, but I'm unable to make you listen to the same quality. And maybe which is why nature isn't helping me, because so that I don't wind up giving a lot of high quality audio files for free. I think, which is why I'm going to have to speak over it. But I'm also not saying that mine is perfect. But let's just keep it to the fact that why would I be dumb enough to let out high quality recordings for free? I mean, the idea is to show you how it's done, and then you practice it on your kit and make better sounds than this, because I'm just helping you get started, if that makes sense. And what did I want to say about the deceivers? Okay, so I don't mind getting a little personal here, if it can be used as a contribution to the evolution. Contribution to the evolution, we've heard that quite a lot now. So what I've been thinking is that my love life is, or my so-called relationship status is still single, right? It's been a long time. Probably because I haven't found anyone to get married to, and this is what wants me, or this is what wants to make me talk about it, is that I don't really want to get married. So see, the idea is that I find some women or girls interesting, and it's just not one. There are a few who have caught my attention, and I look at them and maybe fantasize about them, but I cannot take the next step to approach them because I know that the society has their heads turned backwards. So before I could even turn them off by making myself look desperate, they've already turned me off just by the energies that I very well understand. If you want to know the truth, I would like to be with someone who is not from this planet, but is extremely wise and knows the nature of this universe and the purpose of our existence. Because look, let me tell you something that is before you die, God will show itself to you, which will make you question everything. The matter is just whether you reciprocate with the right answers for those questions, or regret in darkness. The choice will be yours, as the questions are also yours, and the answers are also yours. But what you will evaluate and reevaluate yourself on will be kept confidential within the secret books of the universe. It's only between you and God. So anyway, what was I saying? Let me not be jumping topics here. Is that I don't want to get married because I want there to be someone, if anyone who loves me, should love me and love me only. Not in a selfish way, but I don't want them to see me as a husband or a life partner. Because what I've come to realize is that people can love someone else and still have a husband or a wife. And it does not make sense to me that way. So why have a wife or a husband in the first place? Or in that case, you'd be doing far more crimes in the eyes of the universe rather than just being open. And when I say that a woman should love me only, I do not mean that she cannot love anyone else. Of course she can. But she can't make me feel jealous in any way. She's got to have that high level of temperament. When she is with me, she has to be only with me. And she has to also take the initiatives to approach me, ask me out, take me out, chip in on the bills. Whatever it is, only then will I reciprocate. Because what I've realized for me is that we got the puzzle the opposite way around. Instead of being married or having relation with one person and neglecting everyone else, it makes more sense to have relation with everyone interested and to neglect only one type of people called the deceivers. So this is what I wanted to talk about, the deceivers. Those who cannot understand what life is about, but think that they can understand it very well. Those who cannot understand how they might make someone vulnerable or insecure, because that makes them more dangerous, a threat to their own lives, including others around, and foolish in nature's eyes. So I want to see that in this, so that I want to see in that in this era, divine energies coming together and breaking all barriers that try to stop them. Not just in movies, but in actuality, in reality, in our existence of this reality. They might think that they have separated Romeo and Juliet, but every person's reality is different. What an irony. And I will talk more about this when I talk about understanding dimensions. But I want to see what are the steps that you can take in order to find and meet your love. I'm sure it's not as simple as I've explained. It's far more complex because the initiatives are not singular but mutual, and whoever drives it needs to be an equalizer, a normalizer, making it a fair system for the energies that are generated within the individual. And lastly, I don't like the idea of guys hanging out together or girls hanging out together unless you're actors of some kind, which would make that your work. And that is exempted, in my opinion, because it's work. But apart from that, civilians need to match up to their counterparts and not jeopardize their privacy or exploit their personal space unknowingly. Isolation is exempted as well. Isolation is exempted as well, and I don't consider isolation as fear. Proper care has to be taken to acquire individual development. Also, having an idea about sensitive topics is essential and should not be discussed outright with everyone or anyone. You may think friends can talk about anything, but that's not true. You'd be very close to jeopardizing your sexual orientation if you are not cautious enough. Because physically you might think that you are straight, but mentally you would not be, if you do not have an idea about the sensitive topics, that is. And in some cases, you might even be a hypocrite. So be very careful with that. For example, two or more women talking about one man for a long time is invalid, and vice versa. I want you to realize that personal development is something that is not really taught. You've got to grasp certain things and understand your thought patterns, disciplines, policies, principles, actions, and bring your virtues and awareness under full control. No one can teach you that except your experience and observation.